I'm going to walk through 3 or 4 different screenshots of what Once Accounting does inside the platform, how it helps accountants. But before we jump into that, we've really got to ask a pretty straightforward question. That is, what do CPAs want from Once Accounting? Right? What do they want from their tech stack that they're currently not getting? And the answer, or the question we've found, is to simplify the process of getting data from QuickBooks Online to tax returns for the serial entrepreneur. That guy that's always got a business, or he's got several businesses. How do we get that information from QuickBooks Online, Xero, accounting software to the tax return processed efficiently, effectively? And we found that to be we found that those requests are to simplify the process through automation. And second and third kind of combined together is give us everything we need and give it to us when we need it. So it's not enough to just get this stuff on April 14th, but give us everything we need early so we can get ready to do the tax returns and not be pressed at the last minute. And you'll find inside our platform that we have an overriding theme: be effective, then efficient. So there's no bigger waste of time than being efficient at something you shouldn't have to do at all. So if I can do something once and not have to do it again next year to eliminate redundancy, that would be a good thing. But we're going to go through those check boxes now and talk about simplifying first. What does simplify look like? Well, how about a single login for every client of the firm? We'll start there. So you can see here, you can select a company, and we've selected the Superhero Demo Supply Company. We can check, we have all this information, all of the client data is stored in one database. So you can see whether it's in QuickBooks Online, Xero, Sage Business Cloud. You want to import data, we got APIs. How do you want to get the data in? As long as it's in accounting software, we can store it all together. You want to add a new client, it's really easy to do, right? I can just click this onboard new client button and we'll bring the data in. And when we do, you're going to find the first thing that we do is that we're going to group everything together from the client's chart of accounts. Here you can see that the client had 3 accounts that would go under prepaid expenses, a prepaid expense, an insurance, and a prepaid rent. So we'll aggregate those together automatically into groupings. So you can, or standard groupings. And then the second thing about that is that we've already mapped that to go to the right line on the tax return. So the Superhero Demo Supply Company is an S Corp. So the prepaid expense is going to go to Schedule L, Line 6, other current assets for the 1120S. Now, this grouping has already been mapped to the right line for a 1065. It's already been mapped to the right line for an 1120. There is no balance sheet on a Schedule C or a Schedule E, but it has been mapped for all of those things so that if I say, hey, I've got this sole proprietor that's an LLC, and I want to take his tax return and push it onto an S Corp, well, guess what? I don't have to remap anything because all of this is mapped to both categories. So it's ready to go. All you do is switch the account type from a Schedule C to an 1120S, and it's ready to go. Now, we've also got automated posting of book to tax adjustments. So it's not just enough to be able to gather everything on a cash basis and push it to the tax return, because what we'd really like to do is get it on an accrual basis and then automate the book to tax adjustments by marking accounts as tax significant. Then I can do things like prepaid rent so that we automatically reverse the activity each month and go from the client balance through the TJEs and then to a tax balance. Now, these TJEs are not posted back to the client's books. They're stored in the clouds, which give you a cloud-based, effectively accrual-based set of financials sitting right next to a tax-based set of financials. We also don't want to have to ask for data or have clients send data. We want it to be automatically updated every day. So when I click that onboard new client, every day from that point forward, we're going to bring in data and check, scrub it, see what's in there. You'll see what some of the other things we do with it, but you're not going to have to ask for data. If you want, at any time, you can just push this gather data and bring in information that may have changed from overnight. And finally, we don't want any data entry, right? So we got a ready to file button so we can push it straight to the tax return. But another thing you'll notice is that all of the trial balances will be exactly the same. So if I don't have an integration into your software yet, we've got a great one for Lacert, we've got UltraTax all done. But if you've got something like, if you've got any other accounting software, we're also working on ProConnect and CCH Access. We've got a lot of work done on the Go Systems platform. We're working with Drake on an improved trial balance integration there. So we're we're working on getting other ones done, but if you can get everything out in a standard format, then you can upload it once and it will remember that mapping going forward. So we give you a template that has every one of these leads on it. You map it at the beginning of tax season and you don't have to worry about doing that again for any further S corp. You run that template up as a partnership the next time, map it, and you don't have to do it for any more partnerships. It's really that simple. The final thing is we're going to give you what you need, right? So how about from the trial balance, from the tax trial balance in the cloud, you can get drill down detail on the transactions that are underneath it. So here we've double clicked on fixed assets, and not only do we see at the beginning balance in all of their different asset categories, but we can see that they added in transportation equipment we have a new fixed asset addition. So we want to be able, so it's not enough to be able to see that we want to do it. That's effective, right? That's better than having a balance at the end of the year, but being able to see what the additions are. But you want to be able to take action. So if I want to post the section 179 expense, post the whole thing. They're not going to depreciate on the books for whatever reason. I can take the whole expense as a TJE, or I can make a JE from right here. That TJE, again, will not post back to the books. It's ready to go to the tax return, so I can take that section 179. I can post my straight line depreciation as a journal entry and keep up with my book to tax differences. That journal entry will post back to QuickBooks Online in your online platforms. The other thing that you need is you want to be able to see all of the tax adjustments on one screen. So if we've automated the adjustments, we give you the ability to go in and review all of the adjustments. You can edit them. You can delete them if you'd like. You can update them. So add new entries, but it gives you one screen to be able to review those transactions and see them all at one time here on the Tax Journal Entries tab. The final thing happens on the Alerts tab, and that's going to be when you need it, right? So it's not enough to have all this information. It's not enough to have all this information. We'd like to be alerted when certain events take place. And here we've got a couple of things, a couple of the many alerts that we've got, but here's just a couple of examples. The first one is a transaction needs our attention. So here you can see it's a needs attention alert, and the client added a new loan, and when they went through and set up the new account, they put the beginning balance in, which created a debit to opening balance equity. Hey, I want to be able to fix that. How can I fix that? Well, you can click right on the transaction, open it in QuickBooks, reclassify it, regather the data, and you're done. Or you can post a TJE like you saw before, or you can post a journal entry, which is more likely what you're going to want to do. You can make an AJE, mark that, and then we'll have a opening balance equity as a credit, transportation equipment as a debit, and post that back to the book so you can track what you wanted to do. But most importantly, it's this year, right? We're in October, and next year we're going to work on 2025 tax returns. We need to know this now. So we're talking about this year so you can see this information and fix things before the end of the year. We also have an alert here. You can see the chart of accounts change. Perhaps that's because we added a new loan. That's what it is. Or perhaps they opened an account like research and development. Now we can find out right after they started spending money on research and development, what are they putting in that category? Is it tax significant? We can mark that as tax significant, like you saw before. Not necessarily to reverse it, but just be alerted to when they add new accounts into that, when they add new expenses into that account. You see we've got alerts for fixed asset additions. So now I can update my depreciation schedule, make my journal entries, my TJEs, and I can do that before the end of the year. And here's the best alert. Here's one of the best alerts, and that is that the account balances have changed. After we finish the tax return, the balances that we have, the trial balance we have, no longer ties to the trial balance that's inside of QuickBooks because they voided a check to the lawyer, right? So cash went up by $2,500. Attorney's fees or professional fees went down by $2,500. We'll tell you that happened yesterday. We'll tell you what account changed and by what amount, so you can get retained earnings to roll before you get to the end of the year and get these tax returns done effectively, efficiently at the beginning of the year. We've also got the ability to create customizable alerts, like a pass-through entity made a estimated tax payment and coded it to something like payroll tax expense. An alert that looks like that may have happened. An alert that says charitable contributions may have looks like it may have a political contribution in it. So we can be smart in what we ask the software to do, and the software can then turn around and give us what we need. So when we ask the question, what can Once Accounting do for CPAs and their serial entrepreneurs? The answer is quite simply exactly what you needed. So I encourage you to schedule a demo at www.onceaccounting.com/demo. You've seen that right here at the bottom of the screen. I look forward to hearing from you.